Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Elbows Tight Podcast. Is your host, Jon and Travis. John, how you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. Travis, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic.
Doing pretty good since we just went and had some tacos.
Bro, those carne asada tacos are so good. I think what made it even better, what's the name of the place we just went to? It's over here in Imperial Beach.
Something Hess, like Hess Tacos in Imperial Beach. They got like a brewery. They do some tacos under some tents. Delicious.
Yeah, because of all the not Washington.
I think it's Mike Hess. Mike Hess.
Mike Hess?
Yep.
Yeah, because California has that rule now where you can't be indoor dining. It's all outdoor dining now, which is crazy.
I mean, at least it's a good environment for it.
Yeah, it's beautiful outside right now. If you guys don't know, I came to a last-minute trip down to San Diego to visit with John, a.k.a. came down here to help him work because it's unbelievably busy at work right now.
Very busy.
So I came down, 2 weeks now? Is this coming up my third week?
Feels like it's been months, but I think it's been
I got down on the 10th.
2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, so it's been about 2 weeks. This is coming up on 2 weeks. But yeah, so I came down, helped out John. Going to be down here till a couple more weeks, and then going back up to Washington. Then John comes back beginning of the year.
Yeah, middle of January.
Yeah. So while we're down here, we got a lot of opportunity to interview some people, to do some crazy stuff. I'm just joking. We're during the quarantine. We don't actually
pretty
have
much everything is shut down.
It's literally everything.
I need a haircut so bad. I'm glad there's no live image of this right now.
Yeah, because you definitely look like a caveman.
I agree.
It's pretty bad. John looks like one of those trolls that the hair would grow out of, that you would plant the seed in. Like his hair's like all over the place, and it's pretty funny. So, but in any case, John, what we got today for the beverage of the day? We're in San Diego, so we got to do it right.
So today we're going with a coconut IPA. It's from Resident Brewing Company, which is made and bottled right here in San Diego. So far, it's pretty good. We just cracked it open, just taste it. I like it. 7%. Nice can. It looks really good.
Yeah, real nice can.
Looks like Imperial Beach for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We'll put a picture up on the site.
On the gram. That is really good though. It's a coconut IPA. I don't think I've ever had a coconut IPA. I've had a coconut porter.
First I've had.
Yeah, that's actually really good. I was like, because I forgot, I didn't hear you say IPA, so I was like, wow, that's a weird tasting stout. And then I look at the can, I was like, oh, it's because John just said it's an IPA. It's like, but it's pretty good.
These cans are sweating like they've been out for a while, but it's only been a couple minutes. It's really hot in my place.
Yeah, I think the humidity is really what's just kicking our butts too. I took a shower last night before I went to bed. And then from the process of John lives probably 5 minutes away from 5 minutes walk away from where we just got tacos. And my back is already sticking to my shirt. It is like so humid. I forgot how humid it is down in Southern California.
I don't even turn the hot water on when I shower here. It's like cold water only.
Really?
I don't even go near the hot water.
That sounds terrible.
No, it's fantastic.
Actually, that sounds pretty great. I do the same.
When I'm running on the beach, it's as if I'm showering while jogging. I've never experienced it before. It's really interesting.
You're just like, wow, that's a lot of water falling on. Is it raining?
Yeah, and I kind of grossed myself out yesterday. I've been doing this boxing routine upstairs, and there's a mirror in the room up there.
Yeah.
And when I'm throwing jabs and stuff like that, I was watching the sweat fly off my arm and hit the mirror, and I was like, all right, yeah.
It's like rolling with Cody.
Yeah.
And George.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
And because they're like supremely sweaty. My buddy Todd is the same way. We're going to have him on the podcast next week, hopefully, if everything plays out right. But he is a sweater, bro. We would ride bikes when I was stationed down here. We would ride bikes all day.
We're talking about bicycles or motorcycles?
Yeah, like bicycles. And I would, 10, 15 minutes, I'm like breaking a sweat, not too profusely. Todd, on the other hand, that dude is drenched from head to toe. He thinks about running and he starts to sweat, man.
Well, it can't be any worse than Travis walked to work the other day. He thought it was going to be pretty easy. I think it took him about 35 minutes. And when he took off his backpack, he took off his backpack and put it down, but it looked like he was still wearing it from the sweat outline on his back.
Dude, I know. So, just so people know, I think it's 2.5 miles straight shot from my hotel to where we work. And on the way home, it takes about 30 minutes to walk home. On the way to work, because I have to go a different route, it does not take 30 minutes. And I had to figure that out the hard way. It took almost an hour to get to work. I left my house at 3:45 in the morning to start walking.
We learned a valuable lesson too. You know, when Travis asked me if I was riding to work, I thought that meant like, yes, in my vehicle. But,
Yeah. No, I meant like, are you riding your bike?
Words are important.
Yeah. In the text message, to give a precursor, John has his electric bike down here, and he's been wanting to ride his bike to work, and he's been talking about it all week about riding his bike to work. So I texted John in the morning. I think it was around like 3:30 in the morning.
Yep.
I was like, yo, are you riding or driving? Keyword, or driving to work. And he's like, oh, no, yeah, I'm riding. I was like, cool. If you're riding, I'll just walk to work and see how it goes. And so as I'm walking to work, I think I'm probably about 5-10 minutes from the office. I get a text message from John saying, hey, I'm already at work. Where are you at? I haven't even seen you yet. And I was like, oh, crap. All right, well, let's see what's going on. And then I get into the office, and John is like, no, bro, I drove. I told you I was driving. I was like, no, you told me you were riding. You told me you were riding your bike to work. But
yeah, that was hilarious.
At 4:00 in the morning, I was sweating profusely walking into work. I forgot I had my cell phone in my pocket as I was going through like the checkpoint, and I had to get checked with the metal scanner, and frickin' the dude doing it was like 6 feet away from me. He's like,
yeah, you're good.
You're good, bro. You're pretty sweaty. I'm all right. I think you're all right. Like, yeah, if anything, you would see it because I made the mistake of wearing a light gray T-shirt too, and so it was just a bad. I mean, it was good. It felt good walking in, but it was just.
I think that changed your mind on running back home though, because you were going to run in the afternoons back to your place.
Yeah. No, running home doesn't bother me.
Oh.
I said I wasn't going to run to work.
Oh, that's right.
Right, because if I ran to work, I would definitely have to wear or bring a different set of clothes, and I didn't bring enough clothes down here to do that.
Now, some people might wonder why me and Travis are talking about that so much, and it's because we're looking for ways to stay in shape with all the jiu-jitsu closed around.
Right.
Here.
Yeah, like California State just opened up. What was it? Gyms, barbershops, all that stuff, but in order to do it, you have to do it outside. So down the street from John's place, there's an LA Fitness in a parking lot.
Oh, you saw that?
Yeah.
They brought everything out, every piece of equipment. I'm like, man, I hope they got security on that at night.
Yeah,
because they leave it out all night.
That's what I'm like. It's in a roped area with like the construction grading, like orange plastic barrier, just separating it from the road. I'm like, maybe they're open 24/7.
Maybe, but it is interesting. We were talking to one of my friends at work, and he was talking about he had to put his whole family on like the hold plan where he goes to jiu-jitsu right now, just because, it's tough right now. I don't know what you do. Like, it's got to hurt the business. It hurts the people that go to it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't really know what you can do about it at this point.
Yeah, I think the only thing you can do about it is just hopefully hold on until they open everything back up. You know what I mean? That's all you really can do, because what are you going to do? You're going to open up and then face a fine. Well, I mean, some people have, right? Some people have been like, whatever, I'll just take the fine, but I need to provide food. You know what I mean? So
I feel like that would be me. I'd take the fine.
You just take
I
the
say
fine.
that, but I'm not the owner of a business.
Yeah, right. And you're not facing $10,000 fine for opening up when they say don't.
Because when the government wants to come down on you, they can come down on you.
They come down hard.
Yeah, like, oh, you need a license for that. Sorry, that's denied.
Especially in Kitsap County.
For sure.
Those people are so corrupt. It's ridiculous.
I didn't say that. Travis did.
Yeah, don't kill me. So, but in order to stay fit, what I've been doing lately is I got back into running. Like John mentioned earlier, I've been thinking about running to work, but I ixnayed that. I'll run home. I ran home the other day, and it's only like 2.5 miles, like I said. So I'm trying to just slim back down because this quarantine got me all kind of plumped up. I think I've gained like fucking 15, 20 pounds, man. Oops, I got to bleep that out. But
it's okay. It's okay.
But and so I was like, I work out in my room now. I ride a longboard around the island, or I run wherever I go, or walk. I hardly ever drive unless it's to John's place. I try to walk everywhere I possibly can to just stay as active as possible, and then do little body weight kind of little bit of exercises in my room. And then John has a fair bit of some fitnessing he's been going on lately.
I have been. I mean, I don't know how it works out where I go, but for somehow they're good to go by the.
Finish it.
Oh, they're good to go by the city.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're still open. They're good to go by the city. It's a nice facility. It's got a nice big mat. They got some weights in there. They got the heavy bag. They got some other boxing stuff. And I've tried a couple of the Krav Maga classes there they have. And, you know, it's a great workout. It's a little challenging for me because I'm more of a quiet person when I'm working out. And they're very loud. They like to put a lot of force into their hits. So a little uncomfortable for me, but we'll see. You know, I'm more of a quiet. I like to conserve energy. You know, we'll see. We'll see.
I'm laughing because tell them the story about when you guys were hitting the bags and you got uppercutted.
Oh yeah. So my last time I was there, I was partnered up with a guy that was fairly new. I think he'd only been in 3 or 4 classes, same as me. And I was pretty comfortable with him. Neither one of us really knew what we were doing, so we were just kind of going through whatever the instructor was teaching. But then they switched partners on me, and I got a more seasoned Krav Maga guy. Looks like he's been doing it a hot minute. But anyway, so we partnered up, and basically you were throwing like some jabs and a hook, but you were throwing them pretty much as hard as you can. And basically it's up to you to kind of like, you know, make sure you don't hit the individual, which was making me nervous. But, you know, we got through it. Neither one of us hit each other. And I've kind of felt bad for him because he was much more coordinated than I am. You know, switching left to right was just really throwing me off. But he was patient. We got through it. And then we got to a point where he actually had to hold this, like, big bag, I guess. It's like a big pad. And I wasn't quite sure how to hold it. But anyway, when you hold this thing, then I guess you hit as hard as you can. And they throw some, like, knees, uppercuts, you know, like I said, jabs, crosses, whatever. But it's as hard as you can throw them.
Right.
So just to give you guys an example, I'm probably 5'7", maybe 175, 180 if I eat a lot, whatever. My partner was probably
6 foot on Tinder.
6'2", 6'3". He got to be in the 240 range. This diver for San Diego. I think a firefighter or a diver. I don't remember now. But anyway, nice guy. But when it came time to throw these blows into the bag, I don't really know a whole lot, right? I know how to throw, like, the jabs and the punches and things. But as far as, like, knees and kicks, I don't really know any of that. So I did my bit. He did his bit. And when this guy was throwing the knees, he'd, like, grab the back of my head, you know, with 2 hands and bring me down.
Clinch, yeah,
while throwing these knees into this bag. I'm not lying. It was all I had to just hold this bag. It was so hard, snot was flying out my nose. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, flying out my nose. I was so just overpowered with this whole thing. I was
my gosh.
Like, I don't even know why I'm holding this pad because I'm feeling every bit of this.
That's so funny.
And then at some point, he went to throw an uppercut, and either I'm holding the bag wrong, whatever. But instead of the bag, I get it straight on the chin. And, you know, it busted my lip, and it put a hole. You saw the hole like 4 hours later.
Yeah.
The chin was still bleeding. And it's weird now because I got like a knot in there, but it's all healed up. But the lesson was I didn't know how to hold that bag correctly, for one. And, you know, I was like, man, I don't know if this is really what I'm looking for. But I want to stay in shape. But, you know, I was mainly looking for like a boxing type, you know, that kind of deal. I mean, I enjoy it and not at the same time. But I don't know. I'll be back next week, and we'll see how it goes. But as far as the facility, it's a great facility. The guy
looks real nice.
The guy that owns it seems legit, nice guy. You know, he seems very, he'll work with people for whatever they need to get in there. If you want to check him out, it's the Bear Cave on Facebook.
Yeah, give him a quick shout out. They're over here in Imperial Beach, right?
Just give them a look. Look up Imperial Beach, the Bear Cave. You'll see it there. Other than that, like I said, it's open. Check it out. It seems like they have a great CrossFit women's class. I see that's pretty packed. Every time I go, the kids are there. They got like a Cubs class, they call it. It looks legit. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's definitely something that'll hold me over until we get back home.
So what is the biggest difference you would say between the martial art of Krav Maga and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? Like, have you noticed a big difference between the two?
Yeah. So it seems like jiu-jitsu is very slow and controlled. I mean, you have explosive moments, but you know, you control your breathing. You know, you don't want the other person to see you're exhausted, or you don't want them to see you're in pain, right? Especially if they're on top. You know, you want to keep that neutral face. And I'm very big on controlling my breathing. I don't do these, you know, what do they call that in karate when they throw like a kick and they yell when they do it? I don't even know what you call it. You know, they do that vocal whatever whenever. Like they're trying to like let loose this energy. So in the Krav, they're much more explosive. Like they do everything fast, hard. They like to put a lot of force in it. And even when I'm in the private one-on-one classes doing the boxing, you know, the guy will tell me, he's like, "Hey, breathe." And I'm like, "Oh, I am breathing." You know, I'm just not loud about it. And, you know, like I like to manage it. Like I actually try to, you know, even when I'm jogging on the beach miles on end, I'm making sure I breathe through my nose, out my mouth, and I'm controlling the breathing. And I try to do the same thing there. But I would just say the explosiveness is different. And I think it's a little bit harder on the body, too, because they're used to fast, and I have to go not so fast.
Right.
And, you know, where you can guard yourself in jiu-jitsu. You know, if you got some injuries, you can kind of work around them.
Right.
I don't really see that so much there.
Really?
But what I do see is if you're trying to learn self-defense, I think the first class I went there, it was like the first thing they taught was 2 kicks to the privates, right? That's going to work. I agree. If someone kicks me twice in the junk, it's probably,
you're falling.
Yeah, it's going to be game over.
Yeah.
And watching these guys on their strikes, like they're really good with striking. And, you know, thinking about it from the jiu-jitsu side, I was like, man, if I had to take these guys, if we actually got in an altercation and I couldn't get away, then I'd probably take some serious damage.
Just even trying to get them down?
Yeah, because their striking is spot on. Like the kicks, the knees, the elbows, like that's what they're doing, right? So you're going to have to eat that if you're going to the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, I wouldn't want to. I think if we got to the ground, I'd be fine.
Right.
But even then, I'm not entirely sure because it's not like I've been in an MMA fight where somebody's dropping elbows and hammer fisting me.
Right.
So,
and they still practice on the ground, right?
They do still practice on the ground, and it's a little different than what you learn in traditional jiu-jitsu. It's a little bit different for me even when they teach it, but I just go with whatever they're doing. You know? But I can definitely see the value in what they're doing.
Yeah. Do you feel like now after taking the last couple classes with it, like you're, I wouldn't say more well-rounded, but I guess you could say like your self-awareness is like you understand where your weaknesses kind of are more now because you're not solely relying on jiu-jitsu, right? Like you have a little bit of the background and more striking and whatnot, right?
Yeah, and I could definitely see like some of the stuff we learn in jiu-jitsu. Like if you tried it on some of these guys, like what's that one roll I can never do well at Berimbolo?
Berimbolo.
Yeah, roll. Like if you tried that on these guys, you're probably going to get knocked out. Like like if your face is just totally open like that, you're about to get crushed.
Yeah, they're just gonna step back and punch you square in the mouth. Like
or drop an elbow in your face, like like I said, privates are fair game. So good luck.
What's the early bird gets the worm? What is that move? Is that the one I was talking about?
Monkey steals the fruit.
Yeah, monkey steals the fruit. That's what it is.
So
early bird gets the worm.
So you reminded me. So I don't know if anybody knows the Karate Nerd or if they follow him on Facebook. I absolutely love this guy's videos. Mm-hmm. I've never been big into karate. I took Taekwondo when I was a teenager, but never karate. And what caught my attention for this guy is he had one of the Facebook videos up, and it said why karate doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, why is he like this is interesting, right? He's obviously a black belt in their karate, and he's saying why it doesn't work. And he goes into like the 3 phases of karate, and it's kind of where jiu-jitsu is right now, right? So he talks about like when they first had karate, it was literally like self-defense, breaking bones, whatever you need, right? Mm-hmm. And then it kind of moved more to a sophisticated type deal, where they open schools and they're trying to teach like morals and how to act, right? And then the 3rd phase is sport, right? It's kind of so it reminded me of jiu-jitsu. Like you had your original jiu-jitsu, right? Like totally self-defense, breaking it, getting out of there, right? And now we're in this sport phase where a lot of that stuff really, probably wouldn't apply to someone, it's just anyway. The first thing they talked about, I think it's Bimbushi, which was like the first part of karate, and he goes through like this old book that's like a couple hundred years old, and the first thing they teach is the monkey steals the fruit. And I was like, what is this?
What is this? Monkey steals the fruit.
So he goes, and I've never forgot it, which is good because I'll forget everything, all right? And it's got a guy standing, and someone comes up, and they wrap him up from behind, grab him, and basically he steps forward, which pulls the person off balance. He takes his left arm and reaches back and goes straight for the privates, and that's where the monkey's stealing the fruit.
That's right. He's got that banana.
He grabs the fruit and squeezes, and then when the individual takes their hand and goes to grab your wrist that's squeezing the fruit, from there he basically goes into basically an arm bar. He grabs their wrist, pivots around, straightens it out, and just basically like hyperextends the arm like you would on a... And I was like, man, that is really effective.
I'm never going to come up and give you a man hug from behind anymore.
Hey, well, look, after seeing that book, which is illustrated, I went and found it on Amazon. It's only $15. So
maybe you should get it, bro.
It's pretty good. I can send you the link and you can put it on the the page.
Yeah, we got since being down here, I've been telling John, I watched this like 5-hour class on LinkedIn Learning about podcasting, and the first thing I'm going to tell you is I'm glad I did, because one of the things they told you to implement works 100%. I noticed the first day after I did it, it was working, and that was making a more descriptive title to your show, right? So if you notice now, our show is no longer called Just Elbows Type Podcast, right? That's our show was just Elbows Type Podcast before, and it was just a very broad, like if you understood martial arts or jiu-jitsu, you knew what Elbows Type meant, right? It's like whatever. But in searching for like a jiu-jitsu podcast, Elbows Type Podcast wouldn't pop up because we have no cues for for jiu-jitsu, right? We have no cues where we started this as beginners, right? And beginner jiu-jitsu practitioners, if they Google beginner jiu-jitsu podcasts, ours wouldn't pop up because it wasn't a key word in it, right? They search off title. So what I did is I changed the name to Elbows Type Podcast, the beginner's journey through jiu-jitsu, and our downloads have spiked. Like, it is crazy how much traffic we've gotten on our show, and we haven't even put out an episode. This is our first episode this month.
Yeah.
And so since being down here, John and I have really started like looking at the podcast and like, what do we need to do to make this more successful? And one of them is like getting a website. We're looking at ways of, we've talked about it since the beginning, but like we're actually even more serious now. Video recording, putting it up on YouTube, all that kind of stuff. We just want to make as much content as possible for you guys and make us as accessible as possible for you guys, in case you can't listen to it, you can only watch it, or if you can't watch it, or whatever. So we're trying to capture everything right now. So the website's the next thing that's got to come, though.
Yeah, we definitely need that for sure.
Yeah,
it'd be nice to get some live questions whenever we're talking.
Right. Well, I mean, we can live stream it to YouTube too. I can make that happen easily.
Ooh. Oh, all right.
And then Johnny would be like staring at the
slow it
monitor.
down, buddy.
He's like, you're fat and old. Is that a question?
No, but where you're talking about that, it did remind me. We were talking to our buddy at work who's like, I don't know, what is he, like 6 months now in his jiu-jitsu journey? Mm-hmm. Lord Reagan. I'll just call him Lord Reagan.
Lord
if he ever listens
Reagan.
to this. And first off, I almost didn't recognize him.
This dude's lost so much weight.
Easily 40. It's got to be close to 40 pounds.
So I didn't even recognize him either when he first stepped in. I was like, Reagan, what are you doing? Oh, Reagan.
Yeah. This guy, so he just started, I'd say maybe 6 months ago. It might be even a little less than that.
No, I honestly think it's more than that. I think it's been probably almost a year.
No way.
Yeah, because he had started before the pandemic. He started when we were at the other office.
Only like a month or two before that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll say less than a year.
Definitely less than a year.
Yeah, so he's lost a ton of weight. He's got the whole family doing it, wife, kids, that's awesome, right? But then I hear him talk, and he's like, man, I just, it's so hard to learn it. And I'm thinking, yeah, well, that never changes.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you guys know it all, you're blue belts. And I was like, absolutely not.
I think I feel like with our blue belts, we know less now because people look at us, they're like, you should know this. I'm like, how much stuff am I supposed to know?
Yeah. Yeah, like, I think, the first day of that Krav Maga, they were like, hey, show me this. And I'm like, oh, don't ask me to show anything. Like, I can barely remember anything. I'm not the guy you want to ask to show anything.
That's so funny. Speaking of Krav Maga real quick, and belts, is there any promotional thing?
Yeah, actually there is. I have the sheet right here if you want to see
over.
it. All right, let me grab it.
John's walking over to his little like foyer area to grab this piece of paper that's going to show us all this stuff. Let's see here. Level 1 Krav Maga test requirements. Wow, there's a bunch of stuff.
Isn't that a lot?
Yeah. So they go by levels. Like what level you... So you be like a level... What is max level?
I don't know. They test. I've never really paid attention to the leveling of the testing. They talk about it when I'm there, but I know I'm not ever going to really do it. So I never really paid attention to it.
Here goes at the bottom. It has a whole bunch of stuff, right? Muay Thai clinch, knees, pull guard, interior, pull guard superior or inferior, pull guard superior, elbows to the knee, pass guard. Okay, like a jiu-jitsu stuff. Got it. Escape from side control. Got it. Escape from mount, chicken wing. Okay, I'm kind of hungry now.
They do it a little different than us, though. So the way
Scissor sweep?
the way we escape and the way we do our things is different than the way they do it.
Sit over sweep. Is that like a grabbing the tricep, kind of like a Kimura sweep thing?
Maybe. I think it's their version of trap and roll.
Oh, okay.
So when they do the trap and roll and I'm there, it really confuses me because they do it differently than the way me and you do it.
Really?
And like every time they do it, they're always correcting me. And it's because I'm not used to doing it that way.
Right.
And I'm like, I never do it like this. They do it. They do like the bump, where you bump them up, and then they more go under the arm and grab them. I wish I could show this instead of where I'm used to grabbing the wrist and the back of the tricep. They do it almost like opposite. It's really weird. It works, but then they also do when they're doing their version of it. You know how you swing that leg to kind of get momentum.
Right.
Well, the way they swing it, it's really painful because you land on like your shoulder.
For an armbar, right? You're talking about for the armbar?
And I'm like,
Yeah.
And it's hard not
they
to
also
do it.
don't let you, like, shrimp out, right? They say don't shrimp out and to get more hip space is what you were telling me, too?
When I was there, he was like, no, you need to, closer. And I'm thinking, actually, I'm not that flexible. I need to go out a little bit so I can get it. But whatever. I mean, it's who you know and how long you know them and whatever. So it's all good.
At the bottom of the list, the very two last things, they even put a pretty big space in between because that's how serious they are about this. They want you to see this at the last minute. And the first one is 5 3-minute rounds of bull in the ring, 100% effort. That goes back to John getting uppercutted. And then the final thing is 3 5-minute rounds of sparring. You have to go through an MMA match to level up.
Yeah, and that doesn't bother me at all. I mean, we're used to 5-minute rounds. That's not a problem. But like I said, it's just a different intensity. It's just a different intensity is all it is. They do have MMA fighters, right? So they teach the MMA and they're training to like you're legitimately going to step in a ring and fight.
Yeah, Krav Maga is as where jiu-jitsu is kind of self-defense in a sense of like not taking risks to get injured, right? Kind of like self-preservation as to where Krav Maga is ended as fast as possible.
Yeah, they're all about like you're going to crush them, you're going to end it, you're going to whatever it takes to end it as fast as possible.
Yeah, you're definitely not saving any energy until later rounds or something like that. It's like, hey, this dude wants to hurt you. You need to hurt them first. It goes to that show that we were watching where the guy traveled around the world.
Oh, yeah, on Netflix.
Netflix.
Absolutely fantastic.
And he went to Israel.
Fight World.
Yeah, Fight World. He went to Israel to go to the Israeli Special Forces and learn Krav Maga from their like head instructor. And that dude was crazy.
That was an intimidating individual.
He's sitting there, and the host, you'll notice him from a bunch of movies. He's been in a couple superhero movies and whatnot too, but he apparently is a Muay Thai fighter, former Muay Thai kickboxer, and so the guy's like sitting there telling him, the Israeli dude's sitting there and telling him like, kick me in the arm, and he's like, so he kicks him, and he's like, no, kick me in the arm. He's like, okay, so he kicks him in the arm again. He's like, no, kick me in the arm. I need you to kick me in the arm, right? And so he finally like kind of gives him a pretty good one, and the host is just like, "This is so weird." He's like, and the Israeli dude's like, "This is what we do." He's like, "This is how we survive. Like we get hit." We just get used to it. And I'm like, you guys are crazy. Yeah. That's why that stuff works, man.
Yeah, like I told you, I can quickly tell what they're teaching would work. I know some people are like, Krav Maga this, Krav Maga that, or whatever, but I can tell you after sitting in there, it would work. If I got
100%.
If I got in a legitimate fight with these guys that have been doing this for a while, I'm going to get hurt. Like that's without a doubt. Like
break your wrist, walk away.
You might win at the end, but you are going to take some damage. Like like you're going to get hurt.
Right. And it's kind of one of those situations like, yeah, I look bad, but you should see the other guy.
Yeah. I'm
He's
thinking
perfectly
in my head,
fine. He beat my ass.
If I really had to square up with one of these guys, how quick can I get to a wrist?
Yeah. How about this, instructor? Let me show you something we like to call a little bit of a wrist lock. Okay.
I was like,
that will neutralize the biggest baddest, dude.
There's some tough guys, man. I'm like, yeah, good luck.
That's so funny. So you said you're not going to go back to Krav Maga anymore, but the boxing though is
no, I would. I mean, I'd prefer to just do boxing. That's what I really wanted to work on down here. But as you know, Bear, the owner of the place down here, I'm going to meet with him on Tuesdays and Thursdays for some classes. So I assume those will be Krav Maga classes.
You think so?
Well, I mean, that's his bread and butter, so I'd assume so.
Maybe he's just going to teach you striking.
And since Travis was talking about an intimidation factor, the Bear, the owner of this place, has to be. You guys can go look at his Facebook and you'll see the profile pictures. Easily 6'4", 6'5", 280.
Jeez, just easily, massive man.
Easily, with like those crystal blue eyes that look at you like I will kill you.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, so you trying to leave my gym?
Yeah, I was like, man, I feel really small right now.
Yeah, that's funny. So John walked into the gym, and was it the main instructor for Krav Maga that recognized you?
Oh, no, it was one of the students in there. But just so you know, that's Bear in that gray shirt.
The gray shirt?
On the left? Papers.
Yeah. Jeez, that's a huge man.
His
biceps are as big as my head.
Yeah, I'm not even joking, bro, when I say this guy's like, that's one big individual.
Yeah, so tell him the story about what happened.
Well, now if I even remember, just someone recognized us off the podcast, and I was like, oh, it is a small world.
That's so crazy. We actually got I'll give this dude a little bit of a shout out. We got a message on our Instagram the other day while we were at work, and we went on our lunch break, and John and I usually walk on our lunches, walk about a mile and a half.
Try to get some exercise in there.
Yeah, try to stay active because we sit behind desks all day. But we got a message on Instagram from a listener, in Sweden, and was like, "Oh, it's so cool! Like, love your guys' podcast, this and that." And honestly, that's the first time we've ever gotten any, besides John going to this class, to get recognition outside of like our friends and family and whatnot. So I thought that was pretty cool. We have a map that shows all the downloads from around the world, and I don't know how often it updates, but it's cool to see where people are listening to. Like France, we have a bunch of people. Ireland has a bunch of people. Who's ever in Ireland listening, thank you. Hit us up on the gram. Right. If you're listening anywhere outside of the United States, if you want to give us a shout out, or you want to post a picture of you listening to our podcast or a screenshot or something like that, then we will repost it. This John's showing me this picture. It's a black and white picture. I assume that's Bear.
That's his Special Forces days.
That dude is freaking roided out of his mind.
No, bro, that's just some natural muscle right
That's
there.
Crazy. He looks roided out of his mind.
That is a
massive. His abs are like ridiculous.
Yeah.
Great. I need to go back to the gym.
So that'll be my personal training buddy on Tuesday and Thursday.
You mean your personal ass whooper?
Yeah, pretty much. I'll be lucky to come out of that one. I'll be like, whew.
Yeah. Yeah, so there's apparently a group of people down here, too, that are some Brazilian practitioners, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners from up in our area.
Yeah, one of them.
They want to meet up on Sundays.
One of them's a black belt instructor over at Hybrid. We've talked about them before. And he said... I think he said he's got maybe one other one, a brown belt, a couple purples, a couple whites. They're still getting some training in here.
Low-key underground, maybe? No, I'm just kidding. Probably should have said that on the podcast.
I think he's got some mats. Yeah, he did hit me up about midnight last night for some training this morning, but that was a little too late for me.
Yeah, we were going to go over there today and get some training in and have some fun, but like John said, it was just a little bit too late of a thing. But I had a pretty productive morning. I don't know about you, John. I woke up probably 5:30, got out of bed, went and grabbed the camera. I've been shooting some photography lately, trying to take some pictures because our buddy Spencer, the one that was on 2 episodes ago, he said in the show, he's a professional photographer, and so I was kind of like inspired. Like I'm gonna start taking some pictures. This shit looks fun, and so I started taking pictures while I was down here. I am terrible at it right now, but the only way to get better is by taking pictures. So I woke up, went and tried to take some pictures of the sunset, but it was low tide, so it wasn't the greatest scenery. Decided I was gonna go grab the longboard and go skate down to Starbucks, get some coffee. While I was at Starbucks, I was like, man, I'm like 5 minutes away from the beach. I might as well just skate to the beach. Skated to the beach, saw a beautiful beach scenery, skated next to the beach, and then went home and did some classwork. So, and then John and I met up, and like you said earlier.
How do you like that? How do you like that longboard,
bro?
Isn't that nice? So much different, right?
I started skateboarding probably when I was like 10, 11 years old. And I've never did a longboard before. And so I was kind of skeptical against it just because I was like, they're cool, but I don't know. I like doing tricks. I like street skating. It is so easy to skate on a freaking longboard.
It's like cruising, like a big Cadillac.
Dude, going up a hill was ridiculously easy too. And the bearings are nice. Like, it cuts real good. It's a smooth ride. You could go over pretty big bumps and stuff like that you couldn't do on a normal skateboard. It's just really nice. It's like a Cadillac of skateboards.
The ones Travis is talking about are made by Retrospec in Los Angeles, and the price is phenomenal. It's
$60.
$69. I'm looking at all the surf shops out here, and their longboards are easily $200.
Yeah, and it's legit. Like, these things are very well made. They probably do not listen to the podcast, so we're giving them free advertisement. But
hey,
if you guys do,
if it's a good product, I'll say it.
These things are dope. Like, I was thinking about it because the reason I rode my longboard down to, like I said earlier, I usually try to walk everywhere I go. But the reason I rode my longboard is because I was like, I don't want to go all the way down there. I just don't feel like walking. And I always forget that we have the longboard. And so I just was like, all right, well, I'll grab the longboard and I'll skate over there. And then one thing led to another, and it was just like, well, I should just keep skating. I might as well just keep skating.
Right.
Because it's fun. Yeah. I miss skateboarding. I got my street skateboard down here, too. I enjoy skateboard so I could practice some tricks. But while Little Man and the old lady were down here, we went next door we had like this little platform, flat area, concrete area where people like roller skate and stuff like that. And Little Man and I were out there skateboarding, and I went to kickflip, but my board under-rotated, and I slammed my foot like I was trying to catch it and slammed it right on the side of the board. And I bruised the bottom of my foot for like 3 days, dude. It hurt so bad.
Yeah, it sounds like young man game.
Yeah,
Stay away from that.
You're not even that much older than I am, so I would relax. 13, 15 years, whatever. This is like semantics.
That's what you say when you're 13, 15 years younger.
You'll be saying that when we on the mat. You'll be like, I'm going to whoop your ass. All right, John.
Just avoid eye contact.
It's like when you're at work and then a customer comes to you, you're like, Travis?
For sure.
So, but yeah, it's been really fun being down here in San Diego. I have a bunch of friends down here from when I was stationed. A couple people they roll and whatnot, and I don't think we'll have a problem finding people to interview while we're down here, which is going to be nice.
Well, I think it'd be a lot easier if everything was open.
I agree. But that's why we're mobile.
That's true.
You know,
that's true.
This is the podcast setup that I brought down with.
You know, since you said that, maybe I think if Professor's still down here, maybe we can get him
maybe
on
we
maybe we should
hit him up. Before he goes.
Yep.
He can wear a mask. I don't mind.
I don't either.
Yeah. I'm not going to wear a mask.
We could all wear one. You'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, I would wear one if he asked, but in California, they're pretty strict about that stuff.
I should tell everyone, I got a Combat X trainer for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah, he got tapped by it.
No, but I got it upstairs. And after trying to use it for, I don't know, probably about 2 weeks now, I've come to the conclusion that it doesn't work for me. But
if you guys don't know what that is, you could Google it. But it's like a yoga ball with arms and legs and a small little peanut head.
it is much sturdier than a yoga ball. It's like some heavy, like
It is.
rubberized plastic.
Yeah, it's like probably made of like some industrial rubber or
Yeah, for sure.
something like that. It's pretty dope. And from the videos I've seen, if you guys are looking to get one, it's made for like solo drilling, obviously, but a lot of knee on belly or guard passing or something like that. That's really what it's made for. So you could practice an arm bar too. There's another one out there that looks pretty dope. It looks like a dummy, like a car crash dummy.
Yeah.
And
That's what Mike has.
oh, is that what he has?
Well, he has an actual car crash dummy they use. But yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah,
Okay.
he likes to throw it in the golf cart and like throw it out while they're riding and whatnot.
But I was thinking about getting one of those or something like that while I was down here. But I mean, John lives right down the street from me in like back home, so we could just meet up and roll too.
You can roll with a real dummy.
Like roll with a real dummy.
Yep, there you
Probably
go.
has less brains than an actual dummy.
You never know. You never know.
But I'm excited to get home too and get back to class because Washington State's pretty wide open.
Yeah,
Well, Kitsap County's pretty wide open.
I see everyone's pictures. I'm jealous.
Yeah, I miss jiu-jitsu. I miss working out. It's fun. I'll probably go, like I said, I'll probably go swim some laps later at my hotel. They have a lap pool, which I think is like 50 meters down one way. So maybe 25 meters. But it's been interesting. The weather down here too. It's beautiful.
Look at that big, beautiful ocean right outside my window.
I know, literally outside John's
that
patio.
you can't swim in, and if you try, the lifeguards will yell at you. I'm surprised we haven't heard them once, but they go through about every hour and tell people to get out due to the raw sewage.
Well, you got to ruin a beautiful moment there,
But
John.
look how pretty it looks. From
It's literally a
from here,
gigantic.
it
It's
looks
literally a
beautiful.
gigantic toilet.
Yeah, it's just really a big toilet.
Yeah, but also this beach. If you guys have ever been down to Southern California, the beaches get hot. The sand gets so
Blistering.
freaking hot. John took us to the beach right across the street from him when the old lady and little man were down here when I first got down here, and we decided to go walk down the beach and try.
Throw the frisbee. We're ready to make a cool spot.
Oh my God, we try to enjoy the beach, but there's not a single cloud in the sky. It's probably 80, 85 degrees. Humidity, 80, 90%. And we're sitting there trying to throw this frisbee. First of all, I'm pretty sure I hit someone.
You did.
I think I hit someone, blamed it on Lauderdale because she was pregnant.
That poor lady that was sitting down like
yeah, she's
suntan.
like, oh, my God, I'm so sorry. I was like, oh, John, why are you throwing this stuff over there, man?
Yeah.
But so we're walking onto the beach. And this cracks me up too because I think it was Professor that wanted to meet up and drill on the beach. I'm like, you couldn't pay me enough to get drill on this beach. The drill is me going to be running across this beach. That's what's going to happen. But I stepped foot on the sand for the first time, and I think I felt my soul leave my body. It was so hot.
It was hot.
Like my soul jumped out of my body. It was so hot. It was ridiculously hot sand. In Guam, it doesn't get like that. When I was in Guam, dude, the sand was like cool, beautiful, no matter how hot it was outside. Here, complete opposite.
I told you my feet were blistered the first couple times. I'd go out there and run.
Gosh.
Now they're good. They're used to it.
I couldn't even imagine. Like, you said that it was basically taking all the dead skin off your feet too, right?
It was like, every time I'd run on it. And then I'd come back and I'd have blisters on the bottom of my feet.
Oh,
and I was like, whew,
my
that is
God.
some hot sand.
Oh, my gosh, that sounds terrible. But, so what's the biggest thing you're looking forward to while you're down here?
Down here still?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. I don't know if there's anything really. Just I wish the gyms would open up and then I'd go, hit up some more gyms. But right now it's just work. Probably right now we're working 6 days a week. You know the drill.
Yeah.
It'll be that
10,
way.
12-hour days.
Yep, it'll be that way till I leave in January.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to take a whole lot of time off when we get back.
Me too. I come back, and I'm going to go pretty much directly on vacation until the baby comes. So our baby boy is born or due October 15th. We just had the baby shower old lady sent me some photos of the stuff that we got. I'm so excited to go home. Like, I'm excited for him to be born. You know, it's gonna be pretty cool. So
it's good. You're working on that sleep deprivation now, so you'll be good to go.
Bro, I did 7 years active duty. I'm pretty good on sleep deprivation.
That was a while ago.
It's true, but it sticks with you for a little bit. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? Is like, I love Laura Dell. She's going to hear this because she always listens to the podcast. But that's why I'm going to go on the road as much as possible until the baby gets a sleep cycle. I'm just going to.
Oh, there you go. So, look, honey, I'm going to have to work graves when we get back to work.
Oh, no. Yeah. I got to work 18-hour shifts, 20-hour shifts. Sorry, baby. I love you.
I remember when we had our first kid, I'd be like, Katie'd be like, why are you sitting in the driveway for 15 minutes before you come in the house? And I was like, man, because I need that 15 minutes of peace before I walk in the house.
Yeah, and she needs that 15 minutes of peace, too.
Yeah, no, I should be waiting. Where you at?
Laura does that now. She'll sit in the driveway for probably about 10, 15 minutes, and I'm like, Blaze is flipping out the whole time because he heard her pull up. And so I come out there. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, Blaze is in here freaking out. And she's like, I was just relaxing.
Yeah,
I'm like,
sometimes you need that. You need that little sanity check.
Yeah, right. That's what that skateboarding was this morning for me, man. Not a sanity check, but it was definitely a good head clearer kind of. We had a really long, stressful week at work. Like, I don't think you guys understand how, like, incredibly busy we are at work. I mean, we're paper pushers, but there is so much paper we're behind at work to push out.
And it's not like you're just pushing paper. There's many things that go into pushing the paper.
Yeah. I mean, I'm downplaying what we do quite a bit. Yeah. So after we did a 12-hour shift yesterday on Saturday, and so today when I woke up, I was like kind of motivated to just get up and move, you know, kind of like clear my head and relax. And that's exactly what that skateboarding did. I broke a little bit of a sweat on the skateboarding too, but I needed that skateboarding was legit, man.
I did the same thing a couple days ago. Remember I told
you? Yeah,
I was sitting in here unmotivated, and I was like, man, I need to work out. But I was like, my brain hurts. I'm tired. I'm exhausted from the day. But then I got on the skateboard, and I just went like 2 or 3 blocks. And then I was like, all right. Then I went a little bit further. And then when I got back to the house, I went to my workout, and I went and worked out.
Yeah.
I was like, you know.
Yeah, I've been just kind of like programming my own workouts in my house or in my hotel room. I have this little ottoman thing that I use as a box, so I can do box jumps on it.
There you go.
It's pretty legit. And then I was thinking of ways to get weights because obviously everywhere is sold out of weights right now, which reminds me, I think I'm going to walk over to Big 5 over here, right? You said there's a Big 5 over here?
About 10 minutes up the road, if that, maybe 5.
So I'm going to go to Big 5 and see if they got any like a weighted vest or something like that so I can just put some weight on. I mean, I've already put some weight on, but I mean,
like more weight? You want to put more weight on?
Maybe they got like some dumbbells or something like that. But I do know I have a gallon jug, and a gallon of water weighs 8.34 pounds. So if I could do like some curls or some like Turkish get-ups or something. I could even do some stuff with like a med ball. I just need just one piece of equipment. I could program around that one piece of equipment. You know what I'm saying?
Get a kettlebell, kettlebell.
That's what I'm saying. Like if I get a kettlebell, that'd be great. Even if I could get resistance bands,
they have resistance bands.
That'd be great. So I'll probably go over there and do that once we're done recording. And my clothes are folded and put away. Lauderdale took I came down here with my beautiful riding gear OGO bag that I've had for I don't even know 12. 13 years, maybe longer. Back when I used to ride quads when I was younger, I've had the same bag for years. Big, beautiful OGO bag. And Lauderdale came down with this blue and white
Gucci bag, right?
No, I think it's a Guess bag. Oh. Jeez. But it's 100% feminine.
Oh, yeah. Like when you walk around with it, I'll just shake my head.
I shake my own head. I'm like... But so I walk around the streets of the hard streets of Imperial Beach with this freaking blue and white bag.
He ain't joking. We've had shootouts. We watched with binoculars the other day. I think we got people getting arrested every night in the street.
Yeah, there was like a dude that got hit by a car right outside of your apartment last time I was over here.
It's pretty lively out here.
Yeah, John and I sit here and play Hearthstone against each other, and then just every once in a while we look out the window like, oh look, someone just got beat up. All right, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
What's even more interesting is the dynamic change between San Diego from the time I was like living here last time till now. I lived here in 2009 to about mid 2011 when I was in the Navy. And last time I was down here, I think it was November when I was down here by myself last time for the 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think so.
But It was crazy because I was at Todd's tattoo shop, and it's in downtown Gaslamp, and I'm hanging out, and I had forgot my sunglasses, and there's a mall in downtown San Diego.
It used to be such an awesome mall.
It had like a movie theater.
Used to go there all the time.
Thriving. It was like a thriving mall,
it was
right?
a great mall. Was.
And so it was, right? And so I'm sitting in the shop as Todd and I are BSing, and I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna go buy a pair of sunglasses. He's like, oh, where are you gonna go? I was like, I'm just gonna go to the mall. Literally, it's a 5-minute walk from Todd's tattoo shop. I was like, I'm just gonna go over to the mall real quick and buy a pair of sunglasses, just something cheap. He's like, they don't have anywhere in there that you could buy glasses in. I was like, what are you talking about? That's like they got like Macy's, J.C. Penney's, Vans. He's like, no, bro, that stuff is long gone. And it's crazy because I was like, what do you mean it's long gone? Like, what happened? And he's like, oh, the homeless people ran the companies out because the homeless people started like slowly taking it over. Yep. Right. And so people were like, well, I'm not going to come here because there's always panhandling. And then, they weren't feeling safe and whatnot. Not just saying like all homeless people are bad, but it's no offense. It's bad for business. Right. You can't have a bunch of homeless people sleeping in front of your car or your business.
And it makes people feel unsafe. Even if it's not a dangerous situation, it's outside the norm, which makes people feel unsafe.
Right. And so now there's a grocery store and
there's
some other
like
stuff,
a
like
pharmacy.
a couple offices.
There's like a pharmacy on the bottom floor, and that's it.
Yeah, there's like a couple office buildings and stuff like that. But I remember vividly because I used to go there all the time, dude. And the brand new sailors, they get there and they have to be out in uniform, or the brand new Marines come down and they're in uniform. And so those are my memories of it. And now you go there and it's like nothing. There's nothing there. And Todd was saying the way that they got all the homeless people out is they would play Baby Shark, the song, nonstop.
That's horrible.
Yeah, right? And so it drove all the people out of there.
I could see that.
All the loiterers.
Well, I told you, when I worked swing shift, I stayed at the Ramada in the Gaslamp district because it was the cheapest place I could find. And when I'd leave, I'd literally have to walk around tents and people sleeping everywhere on the sidewalks. And I was like, man, this is ridiculous. Like, I was never scared, but like I could see why nobody wants to go around.
What year was this?
Probably 16.
Oh, it wasn't even that long ago.
15 or 16. Wow. It was the last time I was in San Diego before I quit the yard, so it had to be around there. Yeah.
Oh, that was the trip where it was you working 16-hour days.
Yeah. I was like, man, this is rough.
Yeah. Even though we work 10, 12-hour shifts right now, it's still beautiful. So it's still a whole bunch of stuff you can do out here, and like running in the afternoon and whatnot, just trying to stay active. And that's why I brought the camera down too. That way I could take some pretty cool photos and whatnot. But doing 12 hours here sometimes feels better than doing 12 hours at home because I don't have any other responsibilities that I have to take care of outside of my 12-hour shift. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure.
Like if I go home, then I know I still have like my family responsibilities, which is not, once again, it's not a bad thing. It's just another thing to kind of add on to the day. You know what I mean? As to where here I do my 12-hour shift. Now, if I want to go home and go to sleep and not worry about anything for the rest of the day, I can go home and go to sleep and not worry about anything for the rest of the day. But so that's kind of a nice thing. But definitely, I'm excited to go home and be with the family because I'm gonna miss a lot of stuff while I'm gone. Our Lordell and I's 1-year marriage anniversary, little man's birthday, a bunch of appointments for the baby, my dad's birthday, but he should be, hopefully he comes up here for that. Oh no, I think I'll be, yeah. He'll probably come up here for that. But what was cool too is we drove down here from Washington State, which was beautiful. If you guys have never made the drive from along the West Coast.
Yeah, that whole pack highway.
Gorgeous. Oh my gosh. I couldn't believe how beautiful it was. Mm-hmm. You're going through it's just crazy to see the change in sceneries too, because Washington State's like, when you go through Washington State, it's a lot of greenery. You go through Oregon, a lot of greenery until you get down to Southern Oregon, then it starts to turn into desert. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was like, oh shit. And then you get through Northern California into Central California. It's very heavily populated, like like city, and then you hit a little bit of desert here and there. And
Yep.
So it was a nice drive. You drove down too, right? But you guys went through.
Yeah, but
Reno.
I went through Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So how'd you do it? Did you go through Idaho down to Battle Mountain and then to Vegas to?
No, we go through Oregon, and then you know where Bend is, right?
Yeah, Bend's beautiful.
I don't go through Bend. I go about 40 miles outside of it. I think we go through God, it's a really small town. I can't even think of it right now. The way we go is very rural. Like, there's a certain point you hit, and you got hundreds of miles and nothing. Like, no gas stations, no towns.
Better be filled up.
Yeah, for sure. When I pulled the camper through it, I had to pull over and use my jerry cans because I ran out of gas.
Holy crap.
Yeah. You go through, like, Madras, those kind of areas. There's nothing out there.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that because they see Vegas. Nevada is a very desolate state.
Oh, big time.
I didn't even realize it until I left Vegas to drive up to Washington State. You leave Vegas, you hit Pahrump. Okay. That's pretty. It's a decent sized city. I mean, it's not huge, but it's a city. And then when you hit Pahrump, then there's nothing until you hit northern Nevada. Like you literally drive through ghost cities. I don't know one city in central Nevada.
I think I hit Prineville's the last town I hit, which is, I believe, in Oregon. And then I want to say it's like 280 miles till we hit Winnemucca, Nevada. And then from there, it's 60 miles to Battle Mountain, Nevada.
Yeah, and there's like nothing in between that.
No.
Besides desert and mountains.
And ghost towns. You'll go through some ghost towns.
A lot of I couldn't believe how many ghost towns I actually went through.
Which have really weird homes. You'll go through there, and they're made out of like glass. You remember the old Coke bottles?
Yep.
And like in mud, basically.
Yep.
Like, it's some weird stuff you go through.
I was driving. I don't even know what city it was. Right? Like it's no longer was a city or a town, but I was driving through, and it was like right off the highway, and it was just apartments lined up along the freeway, empty, like broken down cars and stuff like that. And I was like, this is so crazy. Like, there's nothing here. I lost cell phone signal driving. And the only way I knew I went the wrong way is because I pulled up the maps on my phone and I like zoomed into where I was and then realized I took the wrong turn at a fork.
Ugh.
And so I luckily turned around and I wasn't too far behind to where I could fix it. But there's no cell phone signal in the central Nevada. So you have to know exactly where you're going. Like it was just crazy to see because I grew up in Vegas and there's anywhere you go in Vegas, like it's just
right.
Or anywhere really, Southern California, Southern Nevada, Northern Arizona, New Mexico, right? There's usually pretty much something within 100 miles or something like that.
Well, most people don't realize a lot of those towns in Nevada they're basically on life support from mining, gold mining, coal mining, silver, whatever.
Yeah, we're called the Silver State for a reason.
When those mines close, so does the town.
Yep.
Like that's the lifeblood. So when those are done, so's the town.
Yeah. And Nevada's called the Silver State. That's what founded was the gold rush in California, but we had a silver rush in Nevada, and now we have gold in Nevada too.
Well, that's basically this whole country's gold comes from Nevada.
Yeah,
like
which is crazy to think about. That
whole stretch of desolate nothing, that's where your gold comes from.
Yeah.
Like the stuff in your cell phones, computers, everything.
San Francisco area used to be a huge area too, right? But not as much as Nevada now because Nevada's way more desolate.
Yeah, that's like the stretch. That whole desolate area, man, that's where all the gold comes from now.
Yeah, and we're talking, so John used to work for these gold mines, like he was saying earlier, and I didn't realize this. I saw, I watched like Gold Hunters or the Great Big Mine or whatever the Discovery show is, and they get nuggets.
Yeah, that is not the case.
That is not how you guys do it.
Correct. What they do is, say you got a mountain, right? So they blow that mountain up starting from the top, right? So they'll drill like anywhere from, they call it a pattern, anywhere from like 80 to 300 holes. And they fill it up with diesel fuel and basically dynamite, right? Then they blow it up. And from there, they have these big shovels that are loaded into the back of haul trucks. And I mean, by the tons. They bring it to a mill. Then it goes through a mill, right? So basically, they're breaking that ore down, that dirt and that rock, and they're microscopically pulling out the gold. So you have to move tons of it to get gold, right?
That's crazy.
They call them benches whenever you look at those mountains and you see like the ledges that are on it. So think each ledge you see is where they blew it up and it's dropping. So it's insane when they do that kind of stuff. Those gold mines, they have to have a plan on how to reclaim it. Generally, they have to have like $100 million already up front for the reclamation.
Wow. Right, because they can't just leave the mountain blown
Correct.
up, right? And you
That's
can't
right.
completely blow the mountain up either,
That's
right?
Right. So they already, like before it even starts, they have to have that money set aside just to reclaim it. And like there's going to be some interesting. I saw some beautiful areas, man. I mean, like you could walk out on a ledge and jump in this water. I mean, it was absolutely gorgeous. The only problem was you'd probably die. So that water is it's full of like harsh chemicals and everything from the gold mining or whatever.
Oh yeah.
They actually have to treat it and they have to get the pH down. It takes normally about 20 or 30 years after the mine has closed.
Holy crap!
For this reclamation, right before it's considered reclaimed, and then you can use it. So it's
because you guys use like chlorine or what are the
they use
chemicals?
cyanide.
Cyanide. That's what it
Yeah,
is, right?
yeah.
To separate the gold from the dirt.
Yeah, so they actually have like emergency, like if someone gets cyanide poisoning, like they got all kinds of stuff out there.
That's so nuts.
The one I worked at was really interesting too because they make copper, which is only like 2 places in the U.S. that make copper.
Really?
So they make huge sheets of copper, and I mean that was so bizarre because you'd walk through and you're on a catwalk, which like a suspended platform,
Yep.
and underneath you is just these huge vats of these chemicals that they use to make this copper. It's pretty freaky.
Yeah, and then also when they make like copper sheets, it's all molten. Well, not molten, but it's all still red hot, and you'll see just like a ribbon of whatever it is, or they pour it, and it's just
The buildings they make the copper in, bro, you can't even go in unless you're wearing a respirator.
Really, because
it's
the chemicals.
so caustic.
Really?
Like if you went in there without it, your lungs are irritated right away. Like, and I tell people all the time. Most people are familiar with OSHA. They come out to your workplace and they do inspections.
They're nothing compared to your guys.
Yeah, mining has something called MSHA, and if you guys really want some entertaining reading, just Google MSHA and go to their fatalgrams, and you'll see like they average 50 to 60 fatalities a year when it comes to mining. And it's pretty bizarre. Like they're much more strict than OSHA, not even close. But interesting reading if you've never read that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because you guys have those gigantic monster trucks that have
Haul trucks, yeah.
the haul trucks,
Yeah.
right?
They call those metal-on-metal fatalities. And basically, if a haul truck hits you, you're dead,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No offense. It's not even going to recognize that you ever went over you.
Yeah, I tell people one of the vivid ones that happened when I was down there is a neighboring mine had like somewhere in the neighborhood of 13 or 14 new hires, people brand new to the company. And they took them on a tour of the mine site, so they're in a big van, and a haul truck basically ran them over. So,
Wow.
I think in the van was like the safety director, like they show pictures, not of the gory stuff, but you can see the van kind of like crushed in the middle. Like it's ridiculous for those that don't understand the size of a haul truck.
It's the size of a building.
It is bigger than probably the house you're living in right now.
Yeah. Like taller, wider, longer. They are massive.
Yeah. People die just patching the holes in the tires. It's considered a confined space if you go inside the tire to patch, to do a patch. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah. And that's one thing too that I was reading up on is these tires, if they explode, they blow up the engine compartment and the driver.
Yeah, you're dead. So they say if you're standing next to a tire when it goes, the body would probably fly about 2.5 miles away.
So crazy. So much force. And that's air, right? They pump them with air or...
I do not think it's air. I don't remember exactly. The tires that I was around were BF Goodrich tires, and they actually had temperature monitors in them. So as these trucks are just driving doing their normal day-to-day routes, the tires get hot, right? So literally they have to watch the temperature because if a tire catches fire, there's pretty much no putting it out.
Just let it burn.
And when that happens, you lose probably $3-4 million because you lose the whole truck.
That's so crazy, man. I would like to work somewhere like that, man. It was a fun job, though, right?
I did enjoy it, but the stress with that kind of job is a little bit different than your normal job because, like I said, it's dependent upon the mine. So you're either producing or you're not. And I think the high producers, if I remember correctly, like they had a mine out in Leeville, I think they make around, I want to say like 17 million or something like that a day.
Wow.
Right? So you got to think.
That's a lot of money.
When you have a fatality or an injury or you get too many hits on an inspection, they can shut them down. So every day they're shut down, that's the amount of money they're losing.
That's so crazy. That's a lot of money in gold.
Yeah, it's bizarre. And underground miners, I'm talking about, these are your average people, that do your normal jobs. Their average paychecks are probably in the neighborhood of $7 to $8 grand every 2 weeks
After tax.
Yeah, because they get a bonus being underground. So, like, I was a surface miner. I did not get any bonuses like that. I did get a bonus once a year that was about like 9 or 10 grand, but these guys are getting it every paycheck.
That is so crazy, man.
Yeah.
Well, it's a super dangerous job.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely underground. I mean, above ground has fatalities too, but underground is definitely, I mean, you got to think about it. Like, there's no light down there. It's hot.
Right.
They're driving large equipment underground.
Literally.
Large equipment.
Yeah, and you got to have a bunch of fans to circulate air. That way you don't have carbon monoxide buildup and all that stuff, right?
The whole nine, man. They got massive elevators that go underneath there. Sometimes the temperature's well over 100, like.
That's so crazy.
It's bizarre. I mean, they've come a long way. A lot of that stuff, they're not down there with pickaxes like you might be. I'm talking sophisticated machinery. They got, my friend's a bolter, and what that is they go in there and, you got they're like basically putting like a wire mesh up to hold everything up while people are under it. They're bolting up into the rock. It's pretty crazy.
That's crazy. It reminds me of Zoolander, when he's I got the black lung ball. You've been here for one day.
Well, it's a funny thing. Like, you'd never think you can get asbestos from mining, right? But before I left the mine, they had a big thing going on where these drillers are drilling with those rigs, and as it's powderizing that rock, it's actually releasing asbestos.
Wow, so they were getting mesothelioma?
Yeah, so we'd have to monitor for it. We'd have to go out there with these monitors. We'd have to hang them. We're testing for asbestos. Like, it's pretty crazy stuff.
I was talking to, back when I was in the Navy in my younger years when I first joined, I had a supervisor. He was an HT1 who had been exposed to asbestos, and he said something that kind of like stuck with me. He's like, look, it's not if you get mesothelioma from when you're exposed to asbestos. It's when are you going to get mesothelioma when you're getting exposed. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost a guarantee. Like, unfortunately, like, you get exposed to asbestos. Like,
well, you know how much is on a ship?
A lot.
You know that white stuff that's around all the pipes and stuff? Like, I remember when I was in...
Well, they've been, like, slowly knocking it out, but...
Well, when I was bored, I used
to
pick at that stuff and just pull it off. And, they used to tell us not to, but I had no idea why they didn't.
Yeah.
And now I know. Like, because it's full of asbestos.
On some of the submarines, they still have asbestos in some of the doors. The brakes for, like, radars and stuff like that, I believe they still have asbestos in them and whatnot. It's just crazy to think about. Like, back in the day, they were asbestos. Oh man, it's like doesn't catch fire. It's so good. It's strong and reliable.
That's why you can't get it out your lungs.
Right.
Yeah.
And now we're looking at it like, don't ever even look at asbestos. So
yeah,
it's just crazy to think about how far we come. Well, it's the same thing like we always talk about when we look back at this coronavirus stuff. We may say the same thing, like, man, either we didn't handle it right or we overreacted, but only time's going to tell really on how.
Yeah, 20 years from now, 30 years from now.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's when we'll actually see what's going on. What's going on?
All right.
So, but hey, I'm good. You good?
I'm good. I think we're good.
That was a good episode.
Yeah, hopefully it's entertaining.
Yeah, hopefully you guys laughed a little bit. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Since John and I are, like we said, are down here now, hopefully we can probably get one in a week or something like that while still having pretty good content to talk about. That way you guys aren't just listening to the same old
I'll definitely,
BS.
Maybe I'll see if I can get Bear on, the owner
That'd
of the
be
Krav
interesting.
Maga place.
Yeah,
And,
definitely.
See if he's willing. I mean, he could probably tell us a whole lot more about Krav Maga than I know.
I feel like he would be really intense and we need to turn his mic down.
Like, just him looking at me is intense.
I don't think I would look at him during the interview. I'd be like this.
I'm like, is that what a grown man looks like? Like,
I'm such a man-child.
Yeah, I wish they could see the pictures I just showed you.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But in any case, guys, if you've made it this far, please make sure you guys subscribe to the show, whatever your favorite podcasting platform is. Follow us on the Instagram, like us on Facebook. Tell your friends all about us. Remember, if you guys are listening to the podcast and you screenshot it and then tag us in it, we'll repost it on our Instagram. Or if you want to shoot us a message, we always reply. We're very active on our social media, not posting wise, but I check it repeatedly throughout the day. So I will message you back. If you guys are enjoying the show, you want to hear us talk about something, interview a certain person, you got some suggestions, by all means, please message us, DM us, comment, do whatever you got to do. We are constantly saying we appreciate the support. You guys are fantastic. So without further ado, John, thank you.
Thank you.
And it's been fun, but not.
No oil checks here.
That's right. Os.